Okay, welcome to Blocked Content. Today we're of course talking about Paper Mario Color Splash. A lot of you guys have sent me this footage, and it's actually from the Japanese Nintendo Direct. For those of you who don't know, there might be people who don't know this. Nintendo holds these Nintendo Directs. They are basically live streams with a lot of information about new games, footage, and for every country, for every big part of the world, they of course do a special direct in that language. And for the Japanese Nintendo Directs, they always have, very obscure RPG games that don't launch over here. But for this one, they even had Paper Mario Color Splash. And it was particularly weird because it was a Nintendo 3DS Direct, which meant, for us, it's centered around the portable device and all the games that came out for that. We have a lot of thoughts on those games, a lot of thoughts we kind of touched on in our previous video. If you want to check it out, it's called something about the NX reveal. Check it out. But this time, in the Nintendo Direct of Japan, they talked about Paper Mario Color Splash, and that's a Wii U console game. So that was a little bit weird, and I initially missed that reveal. But you guys were awesome enough to hit me up on Twitter at SquareThings and sent me this footage, so I know it exists in the world, and there was so much new stuff, and I just had to check it out. I just had to make this video because you guys count on me to do all the analysis kind of stuff for this, for these trailers that come out. I'm really happy that you guys do that because it gives me a greater sense of purpose in the world, and I'm very happy to do it for you guys. I see that not many people are doing it. I don't know why, because I think the hype for this game is actually reaching all-time highs. It's doing a lot of things right. It's doing some things not so right. I'm still on the fence about it, to be honest. You guys know this. But this trailer sparked the imagination and shows us a whole lot of new stuff. So I think it's best that we just dive into all the crazy stuff that the Japanese Nintendo Direct gave us on Paper Mario Color Splash. So let's check it out then. So the footage immediately opens with the first world that we've always seen, the Red Road, of course. And a couple of guys, have told me, this is what the level's called, this is what the level's called. I don't necessarily care that much. It's called Red Road to me, and it looks amazing. I like how the trees look in this stage. And of course, you can kind of press buttons to make the bridges appear. And Mario here jumps to get a card out of the box, which you can do in the game to fight enemies and be awesome in battles, of course. Now, we get to the next area, and this is where it gets really cool and really interesting. This is the forest area that we've seen in a couple of trailers before. I think it was the first Toad Rescue V-Squad trailer that we saw this, but it looks like this might be like a giant land. In Mario Bros. 3, you had the giant world level, which was basically, everything was gigantic and Mario seemed very small in comparison. And I've always loved that level. It always felt really satisfying to hit those giant Koopa Troopas on the face and see the gigantic shell fly all over. And it kind of looks like they're doing the same thing here, because I can see these giant bricks, I can see gigantic coins, and of course in the background, there it is, a Mega Goomba. I think they have an official name. I think it's called Big Goomba, right? There was the Smash Trophy, I guess. But it's really cool to see, and Mario, he keeps smashing those bricks with the hammer, and a lot of you guys have actually told me this, that Mario has two hammers in the game, and one of the hammers is the paint hammer, which uses the paint that you see in the left top corner, and you can use those, of course, to color in gray parts of the world, to make them feel alive, and the other hammer you use in battle, it gets a few things done on the battlefield. So we move on to the next part of the trailer, and this is sort of like a national park kind of level. So it feels like to me, it's mountains, but it looks very quaint. It looks very nice, and I especially like the cardboard box designs in the background, because it just feels so alive. Even though it's all nothing is real. The grass isn't real. It doesn't look realistic in that sense, but it looks realistic in the sense that the textures and the look of the game is just so cool. It's very original, and I like that they're pulling it off this way. I think Little Big Planet did stuff like this very well in the past, and I'm just very happy to see Nintendo have the graphical power to pull off something this awesome and intricate because it takes a lot of work, this kind of stuff, and it's not like Nintendo to do that kind of work. So yeah, feels really cool, looks really awesome. There's a sign in the back. I don't know what it says because it's some sort of weird language that no one can, really understand. So yeah, probably it says something like, watch out, there's something ahead that you're probably going to fall into if you don't watch yourself. And Mario unfolds this very cool bridge. I think it's cool to note that the little clouds that pop out, they are cardboard and paper as well. So the little bridge folds out, and that's how you cross the stage. Looks really cool. Now we get back to the beach level, and this is of course where the Ocean Fest is, and we've covered this in one of the previous trailers. The Ocean Fest is of course this yearly festival where all the toads go, and they have fun at the beach, and people are doing the hula dance, and it's awesome. We can see Koopas attack Mario and they turn into their shell. What I don't really like about this game is that the Koopa Troopas in this game, they look like, general Koopa Troopas, like they should, I guess. But in the previous Paper Mario games, they kind of established that Koopa Troopas in the Paper Mario games, they wear these cool sunglasses and they have red shells, and that makes you think, oh, they're a bad guy. And normal Koopa Troopas you could talk to, and they would be like characters in the world, and they could have personalities and sort of help you out on side quests. And I thought that was always very interesting, like a cool choice, because what I liked about Mario 64 was that you had Koopa the Quick in the first level, and it was like this giant Koopa, and you wanted to jump on its face because it was like, this is a giant Koopa, I jump on Koopa faces. But this giant Koopa you talk to, and it was like, hey man, hey Mario, I'm a big fan of you, I wanna race you. And I always liked the idea that these Koopas are friendlier, you can choose them as characters in some of the games as well, in the racing game and in the tennis games. It seems like they've kind of reverted back to older sensibilities in the sense that they're enemies now again, and they're not really looking that special. What I do like is that the backside of character models are actually colored white, as the back of paper, like it's printed on there, colored on there. I think that's a very cool detail, not necessarily happening with Mario, because of course you're turning from left and right the whole time, and Mario needs to be able to be seen. So we go to the next screen where our paint can is looking over in the clouds, and there's this giant fortress. And this giant fortress actually looks like it has no color. And maybe kind of it should have color. So maybe Mario goes there, and the end result is to get the paint stars. And we'll get back on big paint stars and paint stars in a second. But maybe it's Mario's quest to go to that giant castle and to give it life again. And maybe he does that by defeating the boss, getting the star, and coloring the entire world. That would look very cool, and that would fit the game perfectly. But I also think this particular scene with the castle there in the clouds looks a lot like Super Mario World, the SNES game, one of my all-time favorites. It's definitely top 5. And I just love that throwback because the style, it fits. It's not sprites, but it's very close to it. So we get to the next part, and this is probably one of the more deserty levels. And Mario here is of course finding a gray spot in the wall that he's hitting with the paint hammer. And I think it looks particularly cool that he hits the backside of the wall, and there's actually a Mario backside sprite. And he hits the hammer. That's never happened before in the series, and I just think that's a really cool detail. There have been a few Mario, I guess I call them sprites from the front, but yeah, having something like this, it just feels really good, and gives the game a little bit more of a dimension. It lights up, gives Mario a couple of coins. Very nice. Okay, so here's Mario on top of the house, and this is of course the Toad house. So if Mario manages to color the entire house that's been turned gray with the hammer, you smash it all over the place, and hopefully don't break any windows or the roof. It blinks, it turns into all its glorious color, and then the toads come out. So I really hope that people have kind of forgiven Nintendo for the fact that there are only generic toads. As you can maybe see in the corner here, I've accepted the fact, and I kind of am okay with it now because of the Toad Squad thing. But initially, when people saw this part in the very first trailer, they got kind of angry. So let's skip over this then. Now, this part of the trailer I thought was very weird because this is a world that we've not seen before in trailers or any sort of gameplay, but it looks cool and it has a weird, look to it. It has weird coloring. The mountains look purple with like cyan-colored grass. Very weird stuff. Mario is of course coloring the world, but if you look in the left bottom corner, you can actually see dry bones. The Koopas that have turned into skeletons. And a little later on, or in different footage, you can actually jump on these guys and turn them into bone. I always thought that was particularly weird because does that mean you don't trigger a battle with them? You just defeat them and you can run away? Or does that trigger the battle but you have 1 point or something? I'll have to see how that works out. But this looks like an interesting part, and I think this might lead to a very cool boss battle. It might be. We have to watch out for the trailers and see if this particular part comes back. I really hope that it does. Mario collects the coins from the paint, and we turn to the very cool forest stage. We can see some colorful flowers in the back. We can see a Goomba there, and Mario is of course smashing some more paint on a very gray piece of the floor, and there we collect, of course, more coins. It's more of the same. Now we get back to that very cool purple stage, and we see a big skeleton in the background. It's like a cave, so for sure this is going to be a scary part of the game. It's going to be a boss battle, and you can also see the warp pipe in the back, and I believe right there, we can see a Boo behind Mario, and of course, if Mario is not facing the Boo attacks Mario. But in this case, the Boo is not attacking Mario, so I think that's the Boo can't really see Mario from this far ahead, maybe. And this is, of course, where Mario jumps on the dry bones, and the dry bones, smashes apart. So, again, why doesn't this trigger a battle? Has this happened before in the series? Let me know. I don't know. We're here in the next part at the Central Park kind of stage. I love the look of this level. I love the tree. Mario is smashing the tree and a lot of paint jumps out. And we have a lot of tall grass, which makes me think of Zelda immediately. I don't think you can cut grass with the hammer, so we might need the Master Sword up in here, but probably won't happen. But Mario, it's good that you try. And we get back to the hotel. And I haven't talked about this hotel stage too much. Because the hotel actually appeared in a couple of gameplay spots on different websites. People got to go to these events and to see these cool exclusive levels, and they haven't really been in a trailer, so I haven't talked about them that much, but I can right now. This place is haunted, and I've seen instances of Yoshi appearing in this stage. There was this really weird part where Mario tried to jump on Yoshi, and the game actually gave Mario the option to jump on Yoshi, and then Yoshi just ran away and, suicided out of the window. It looked really weird. It was like, hey man, I just don't want to be in Paper Mario, so I'd rather just jump out the window than have you ride me. It was really weird. So everything's floating around. It's probably haunted right here, so the Boo that we saw in the previous part of the level, he will return and wreak some havoc out here. The whole mystery part of this game, it was like a murder mystery or something really cool. At this hotel level, that certainly makes sense. A whole bunch, I guess so, yeah. So we're here in what I think is some sort of pirate ship. Mario is jumping behind these curtains, and we can see the blocks that he's supposed to be hitting. There are dry bones here too, and a lot of wood. And I like that we keep seeing new areas. I don't think we can connect it to any other part in the Mario history. It might be like a Doom ship, like Bowser's Doom ship, but I don't think it will be. I think it's just an original part. It might be the attic of the hotel, but it looks like something we haven't seen before, and I think that's what this game does really well. It's introduce new parts, new things, and I'm very happy that Nintendo is making those decisions, probably because of, fan feedback. Now, in the next part of the level, we see something very funny because Mario is actually just standing there with a warp pipe. I think he collects it or does some weird power-up. And the warp pipe jumps up ahead and it turns into a spring. And probably you will use the spring as sort of a bridge or like a loop-de-loop like Sonic. I can already see Mario running through this. But probably you'll be able to walk over it or use it as a spring to jump over the gap. But I like how this stage looks. This is like a sort of mountains stage, and it looks very close to like the national park kind of level. And we come to the very cool forest level that I love so much, and it has very cool lighting, and we see a giant golden door. But we are soon to find out that this giant golden door is not a door at all. We see it blink, and why does it blink? Well, because when you collect this door, when you walk right into it, it just disappears, and you collect it, and you hear bling. And when you hear bling, you know you've collected a coin. And Mario just had, you know, a few coins, and it just added one coin to his whole stash, and it was very weird. And now we get back to the Ocean Fest, and there's a giant fan in the back that's blowing away a ship, and I think that's a toad there in the back that's drowning. It's very sad. I hope Mario didn't use this power to kill the toads. No, right here we're back with the Toad V Squad, and they are pulling out some sort of vegetable, a turnip, out of a pipe. And we've seen this footage already, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Okay, so here's where a lot of you guys were very enthusiastic, because we see this little piece of paper fold and fold and fold, and it kind of looks like it has a tag, something like a flower would have, and then it folds out, and it's Petey Piranha from Super Mario Sunshine. And this character has appeared in numerous Mario games since then, even in Mario Kart, and in a couple of the sports games as well, and now it looks like he's one of the bosses, which I think is very interesting, because the bosses so far only look like they are Koopalings, you know? Koopas, well, Bowser's not kids, you know, just Bowser's minions or something. But Petey Piranha, revealed as, I think, a boss, or maybe a mini-boss, but his design looks very cool here, and I'm very happy that they have him in this game. It really fits the style. He was also in the Mario and Luigi games, but to see him in the paper style really fits this guy, and I think that even though he doesn't have any eyes, he looks pretty cute. I like the underpants. They're a good fashion choice. Very, very nice. Now right here is where we see some carnage. You know, Mario uses the battery item, and it basically just shoots thunder upon all the enemies and causes some frame rate issues, but that's quite okay. He absolutely destroys those guys. They immediately just explode on impact. So this is a very powerful item that I suggest you save for big boss battles. But maybe Mario's health was low, so who knows. We're here at a very cool special power-up. That's the Japanese cat that you use, and it actually pops out of the background in a very Japanese culture-inspired background with flowers and businessmen in suits and all these sorts of trees and mountains, and even there's crab rolls in the sky. It's all over the place, this stuff. There's very cool imagery of Japanese structures, and this cat just jumps out of the background. And even though this footage doesn't show it, but the cat actually jumps multiple times on enemies and kills them that way. It looks very strange and kind of sad, because it's just a giant cat jumping on enemies, and they of course die instantly, and it's a lot of damage. So we're here at the boss battle with Morton, and Morton actually, I actually misread something about this boss battle, because in the previous trailer he showed up on a rooftop in a city, so I was convinced there was this cool city level, which it ends up there isn't. You know, Mario encounters him in the castle. This might be the castle that we've seen before that doesn't have a lot of color on it, and actually Mario uses certain power-ups. It changes the environment, so we've seen the lemon slices, and it changes the background like it's in a house, and actually the fire extinguisher power-up, it changes the environment to look like a city, and so a city on fire. So I'm very sorry about the fact that we won't be having a city level, and a castle feels a little uninspired, but I'm happy to have that sorted. So I told you we talk about the paint stars. Right here in the background we have a big paint star. And the paint stars are, you know, the Paper Mario staple thing you will collect in this game. In every Paper Mario game, there's like 8 or 7 things you collect in every world, and if you have them all, you can, you know, fight the big bad. In this game, they are paint stars. They kind of look like shine sprites if you collect them, because the edges of the star will actually pop out and have these circles on the end, and it looks like shine sprites. So I immediately thought of shine sprites when I saw like the silhouette of them, and now that I see the cute red one sleeping over there, I'm convinced, okay, this is its own thing. You collect paint stars to restore, you know, color to the world, and that's of course the whole concept behind this game. Now we also see the world kind of rolling up and everything falling on Mario's face, and Mario is very cutely jumping around trying to dodge everything. Even Toad's coffee shop is getting lifted in the air. It's very sad, everything that's happening. You know, debris is falling from the sky, bushes are falling on Mario's face, and actually it's a Shy Guy pushing the whole world. So it's just this little tiny Shy Guy enemy that's doing all of this. It must be one of the most overpowered enemies in the entire series, but I like that this guy has all that power. So we jump to the logo of Paper Mario Color Splash. Of course, in Japanese, it would be Paper Mario Color Splash. I'm not racist at all. This was blocked content. I really hope you guys like the videos that I put together. There's a lot more, cool stuff to come. But for now, you know, all the Paper Mario news is just so interesting coming out that I just have to be the guy to give you guys this stuff. And I hope you guys stick around. Maybe hit that very cool subscribe button to become part of our family. And you can also check me out at Squared Things on Twitter, or also Squared Things on Facebook. And I'm very sure that you guys will like whatever's coming up. There's a lot of stuff that you guys will love, but for now, Paper Mario, I guess, is the main thing, because I just noticed you guys want and you guys crave this information, and I'm here to give it to you. Thanks.